Where is he? Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. You're about to find out how you get inducted. It's very difficult for me to talk about Chuck Berry because I lifted every lick he ever played. So I think really I want to keep it real short, you know, and say, okay, Chuck, where the hell are you? And let's have the statue, and I'd love to give it to you. This is a gentleman that started it all, as far as I'm concerned. And I'd like to greet Mr. Chuck Berry here right now. I want one! Mr. Berry.
May I take a few minutes to set a record straight? May I take a few minutes to set a record straight? Take you back to the Palladium. I don't know what year it was. It doesn't matter anymore. Years, months, and weeks.
It doesn't matter no more. You're right.
Yeah, right. This guy came into the Palladium with a hat, cap turned down over his head, jumped on the piano. He must have been inspired, thank goodness. And he sat down at the piano, started playing some Dynamite Boogie, but it was so loud. And I looked over, not knowing who he was, and I said, hey, get that guy off stage. I don't mind people setting in, but And after he got off, my secretary told me, you know who that was? It's Keith Richards. I said, get him back on, quick, get him back on. He left the Palladium, and I couldn't find him. Listen, no more of that. Go ahead, Keith. But I was so sorry I did it.
We won't mention the black eye.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Thank you.
Well, on behalf of the Hall of Fame, I mean, this is the first time I've inducted anybody, Chuck. I've certainly never been inducted.
You should be deducting me the way I took.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm worried about. Anyway, Mr. Berry.
Dynamite. Thank you.
Hi, Chuck.
Mr. Jerry, appreciate it.
Chuck, I'm Bill Tice from CNN. I just want to ask you a couple quick questions, if I could. Just your thoughts on being in the Hall of Fame.
I think it's very, very
Thank you, Chuck.
wonderful that I was recognized such as, believe me.
What about the other people that are being inducted with you?
It should be wonderful for them too, those, especially those who are alive to experience it.
Why do you think it took so long to get a place like this started?
Well, now that, I'm not on that side of the business, but it's wonderful that it is initiated now.
Hey, this is Quincy Jones. Yeah. Oh, boy. Thanks, Quincy, man. Boy.
Well, Cleveland was one of the first places where somebody like Alan Freed was playing rock and roll music. It used to be called, like I said, race music. And it was probably one of the first times white kids heard black music, rhythm and blues.
What do you think the importance of having a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is? Do you think it's simply a sense of history, or that a lot of these people might have been forgotten by...
I think it's just as important in American culture as baseball, and there's a Baseball Hall of Fame, and football. I mean, and it's purely, pretty much in American music. It's part of our lives for quite a long time. Since the end of World War II, it's been around, and it's about time it was paid some kind of attention, tribute.
Did I hear you saying last year you were going to name your kid Ray Charles?
Yeah, if it was a boy, I was going to name it Ray Charles, Charlie.
Thank you. Is there anyone in particular that you feel like who's influenced you more than any other in this particular group of inductees?
I can't say one in particular. It's pretty much rhythm and blues artists. Soul music. People like Little Richard. You know, Fats Domino, the piano players.
You think a lot of people have been overlooked?
Oh, sure. You can't get everybody, but I think this is a great place to start. This is a good foundation. You know, it's sort of building rock on stone. You know? How's that? I like that.
But thank God there is recognition, and I'm proud of that.
Do you consider yourself to be a cornerstone of rock and roll?
I don't consider myself to be anything but a musician. I'm an entertainer, to be frank with you. I leave all the adjectives up to you guys. No, I'm just, I never called myself a cornerstone. I've never said that I'm an institution. I've never said I'm a genius. I've never said any of those things. I just, when I do say anything concerning myself, I hope I'm a good entertainer. That's about it.
Back in the days when you were, playing rock and roll, did you ever think it would get to where it is today?
I never thought about it, but it didn't make no difference, but this lifts my morale up.
What are your thoughts about being inducted into the Hall of Fame, one of the first?
Well, it's a proud moment. It's a proud moment for rock and roll mainly. I'm glad to see that it did last. I mean, it used to be the first question they would ask in the old days. We're going to call it the old days. What are you going to do when this ends? I'm glad to see rock and roll grow, mature. I still love it. Still love all the people that are being. I'm proud to be amongst the people that we're being inducted to the Hall of Fame with. Chuck Berry, Ray Charles, Little Richard, all those. They're all my favorites. And I'm proud to be amongst it.
There are no females inducted in this first group.
Well,
Would
yeah.
you like to see one in there? And if you could pick a lady to be the first in the Hall of Fame, who would it be?
Oh, I couldn't really offhand say. I would have to say that I'm reconsider that. I might get myself into trouble. I hadn't thought of that yet. I really hadn't.
They made a pretty good choices. What was really nice about this whole thing is that they were nominated, and a tremendous amount of people were nominated, but all the voting was done by people who had been in the industry forever, and which has really made it really special for us.
What would you say to your critics that were around back then saying it wouldn't stay and it wouldn't be here to stay, but now 30, 35 years later, we're still with it?
Well, thank God they aren't here asking the questions tonight, and they aren't.
Do you want us to quit? Do you want us to play? You don't want us to stop? You mean you want us to stay? Stay right here and boogie? All night and all day? Raise your hand high.
And it was 3:25. I said, come on, Chuck, are you dead or alive? Reading and rocking. Now you've been reading, you've been rocking for 30 years and going on strong. Rick Berry. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.